when you first heard about the Japanese attacking Pearl Harbor?
Oh yeah, I was at the movies,
Oh yeah.
and I came back from the movies, and I was with my sister, and we went in, and my father was listening to the radio. We didn't have TV in those days, so he was listening to the news as usual, and all of a sudden he said, "Shh, don't talk, don't talk," and they were saying that they bombed Pearl Harbor. And I can remember my sister saying, "Where's Pearl Harbor, Daddy?" You know, and he knew where it was because he knew near everything. And he told her where it was. And boy, I'll tell you, it really knocked the wind out of everyone.
Did you think that there was going to be a war after that?
That's what I asked him. I said, "Is there going to be a war? Are we going to war?"
Oh, yeah.
And later on, I guess it was that, now I don't remember whether that was afterwards or before that.
What?
I can remember being upstairs and hearing them hollering, "Extra, extra," and we lived, it was more like living in the suburbs today than being in the city when we
Yeah.
lived where we lived. It was, to hear a boy hollering "extra, extra" outside our house seemed strange because it was like a city thing, you know. And said, "England declares war on Germany." And that was the extra, and everybody ran out and bought the paper and started reading it. They were bad times, you know, but that was all part of it turning into good
That's part of the
times.
Depression. The
Yeah.
war got us out of the
That's
Depression.
it, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Grandpa, where do you remember
I
where you were?
think we had been, I don't know if it come from the movie or come from church. I remember them all screaming in the neighborhood, "Pearl Harbor's been bombed. Pearl
Yeah.
Harbor's been bombed." I think we might go to war now.
Hmm.
And I can hold my father was still living, and he died that was in 41. He died in March of 42. And he said, "Yeah, it looks like we're going to get in it."
Hmm.
And I was just out of high school. I was about 18, 19 years old. 18.
My
18.
mother had died that year.
You were my,
She had died February that year, and this happened in December 7th.
That's right.
That's right. So
My
she
father
wasn't there
died
for.
in
She wasn't.
March of 1942.
That would have killed her. Joe,
I was just 20 years old the day we buried my dad. 20 years old, yeah. And he knew then. He always used to say, "Our biggest enemy is going to be the Russians." And they were.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what happened then? Did go away in November of 42,
Yeah.
and was away till 45. And all my cousins. It used to be, they said if you had 2 or 3 in the circle, they wouldn't sit, they would leave one home.
Mhm.
But they all went, all them Ryan
Yeah.
boys went.
Just
And maybe had 4 went.
Mhm.
And Bobby didn't go. Of course, he was married.
Mhm.
And Billy now, his brothers went. Our whole family went. We must have had about 30 of the cousins went away in the service, in the Army or Navy or one of those things. Yeah. I'll never forget Pearl Harbor.
Well, seeing as my father, his family couldn't marry because they'd lose the money. We didn't have any cousins on
Yeah.
that side, and then the other cousins lived upstate in the mines.
Yeah.
Oh, they used to work with
Yeah.
mines then, and so we just didn't have any cousins. We just stayed in the house with our own people, with our own siblings. It's funny.
We had just gotten our first car, that Oldsmobile.
Yeah.
We had it so well, my dad died.
Did you ever learn how to drive it?
Yeah, I drove that, sure.
Oh,
He bought the car off the school and nobody knew how to drive. So I think Billy Tierney and Bobby knew how to drive at the time, and they took me out and I learned how to drive. It was a stick shift in them days.
yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a big car too, that Oldsmobile. It was a good car. Yeah.
That Plymouth you had after that,
Huh?
wasn't that a stick shift? The blue Plymouth?
No, that next car I ever got was a blue Plymouth. Yeah, that's right. I bought from those Neighbors, remember?
Yeah, the ladies.
That was that on Chestnut Street.
Well, wasn't that a stick shift?
Yeah, that was a stick. No, that was on the steering wheel. Remember we had it? This
Yeah.
other one was like on the floor. You had to go up and come down. Yeah. The first one we had, yeah. But they were good, those cars. You could move around them in the snow. You put it in second, you'd move right off. Yeah. But
Yeah, it was a good.
I don't know. That was the first car we ever had. My father never got much use of it, you know. And we had paid, I think he paid $200 for it.
Jeez, it was an Oldsmobile.
Oldsmobile, big car
That
there.
was a good car. Oldsmobile.
And then after we got the car, he used to have to make stops, you know, these people that were on, he was in domestic relations checking on people that didn't pay their, you know, when you have trouble with leave your wife, you have to pay so much to stay. He used to go and check on these people and want to know why they weren't paying. And he had mostly all South Philly. And I used to drive him around there all the time. Prior to that, they used to give him tokens to take the trolley down, but he loved it when I could ride him around there. Took him all over the South Philly, most of it. I can remember my mother writing out the reports for him the next morning. He had to turn them all in the next day. Yeah. Wasn't easy in them days, but you know, we managed.
My battery's